Hi, everybody. It's good to see y'all. Welcome back for the next episode. This is the 45th. It would have been the 46th, and closer to my birthday, my age. Uh, I didn't plan that strategically, but I probably could have. But so we're on the 45th episode. Thanks for joining us. We'll go around the room or around the Zoom and fill us in on how your holidays were, Christmas, New Year's, and also tell me the best thing that you had to eat, dessert, whatever it was, best thing that you had to eat. You got to pick one. I'm not asking you to eliminate anything. Just give me the best thing that you had to eat. I'll start. I had a prime rib roast that I made for my family. That was really good. Cowboy butter, very good. And Christmas and New Year's was excellent. Spent it with my family as well. My grandkids, blessed to be able to spend more time with them. So I hope obviously everybody had a happy and safe holiday. So we'll start with you, Wally. You're the last to enter the call, but first to go.
Yeah, sorry I was late. I'm getting old.
Hmm.
I debated just going right to bed. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was on the very precipice of bed. So you boys should be considering yourselves incredibly lucky that I came on because it was touch and go there for a moment. Um, my holidays were good. Christmas was typical chaos, running around like chickens with their heads cut off to various grandparents' houses. It's just become it's what we do. It's the only thing I know. It was good. It was fantastic. My kids are great age for Christmas. We had a good time. Very grateful. Very thankful. Fantastic holiday. New Year spent down with Jeffrey. It was a good time. Our families meshed well together. We were I was down there for the night. We spent the night. It was good. It's funny. There are so many foods that I have that are exclusive to Christmas. Like I have only on Christmas, so it's hard for me to pick one because I got like three or four that I can think of. But I will say this: my mother makes a shrimp dip. It's very simple. It's a shrimp dip she makes. It's only there at Christmas. I've come to enjoy that. I've had it for quite some time. I yeah, that's probably what I was looking forward to and what I enjoyed the most.
Nice. Tim, we'll go right to you.
Yeah. So my most of my wife's siblings came in from LA and New York, which can sometimes be, it's always pretty stressful because we don't want to, we just want to keep things superficial or else things kind of get nuts. But it was good. We laughed a lot. We get along really well, so long as we just sort of glissade across the surface. They're really fun people. Um, Best meal. So my wife's grandmother has this old dressing or a recipe called Southern dressing, and it's got a whole thing of cornbread, a whole thing of Pillsbury biscuits. You crumble it up, a whole chicken, a whole bunch of seasonings, and it's just this mashy nougat of deliciousness that we have pretty much Thanksgiving and Christmas, and it's so good. So that's always my favorite. Um, then we hopped a plane to Phoenix, which is, I mean, Frontier flights were like $50 round trip, so we couldn't lose money on the deal. So we went to Phoenix for a few days. I did some K1 racing. I don't know if you know what that is. These
Yes,
little
yes,
go-karts go like 45 miles an
yes,
hour, man. It was
yeah,
nuts.
yeah.
I did some top golf. Hurt my back, just because I never play golf and I overswing. Um, Yeah, honestly, I was a little nauseous with the Christmassiness of Christmas, how I just kind of feel sick of the, you know, songs, the stupid songs and repeat and commercialism. I know it sounds old, like a little fart, but that's I kind of get sick of that part this year.
Wow, thanks for
Other than that,
admitting
it was
that.
great.
We're technically the grumpier old men at Christmas. All right. Uh, Go ahead, Chet.
So Christmas is great. Kids had a blast. It was all good stuff. And then we had a flag game on Saturday, and the team just came together. I'm so proud of them because I get to coach them. And Cameron, the wide receivers, they were so on point. I think he had like three touch, something like that. Anyway, I was able to pull him, put the backup quarterback in, and actually get a chance to coach this kid. And he did great. Like he was scared. He was like looking for me. Like and he went in there, and we had a play. We put Cameron back in where he handed the ball to him. Cameron runs out. Cameron got his first ever touchdown reception as well. So like that's just fun.
That's
That's
great.
fun. And then we had a gigantic New Year's Eve party. Um, it was mostly just like Goffstown people coming over. Actually, almost all except for my buddy Steve, which is awesome. And we had a great time. So the food is from Charlie's in Goffstown. Charlie's in Goffstown, garlic parmesan chicken tenders. Everybody loved them. We had so much food, but like people were like, that's what they wanted. And so it was all good. It was all great, but like that was exceptional. Like if I had some right now, I'd eat it on camera. I would.
I would allow it. Always consume good food. Yeah, that's good. Good to hear about you guys. Tim, you did the K1 and you did Top Golf. The fun thing that I like to do at Top Golf, and the one of the reasons why I really like it is because it shows you your ball speed, and then obviously
Yeah.
tells you how far it's going to go. So we would always, after a few drinks, normally we're all just swinging as hard as we can to see who gets the highest
That's
ball
my
speed.
reason to go.
Yeah, and that's probably, well, I'm surprised I haven't thrown out my back doing that as well.
So
But
what's your ball speed? What'd you get?
I think I've hit 140.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's pretty good.
Yeah, well, I mean, it'd be really good if I could control where it went. I can hit it hard. I just don't. I have no idea where it's going. So most of my swings,
Yeah.
even off the whether it's off the
Yeah,
tee or
right.
whatever it is, most of my swings are probably like 60 to 70%. Like I just have more control, and I still really don't know where it's going. I'm aiming in a direction, but I'm hoping
Right.
is a better term. Hoping it goes in the direction that I'm aiming at.
There's nothing like when you hit a golf ball or a baseball in the sweet spot and it just
Hmm.
flies. Oh, what a great feeling.
Yeah, it is. It is. And K1, they had that in Austin. That was always fun. A group of us,
Yeah.
uh, this was when I was still in active duty. We went down to Austin and we went to do the K1 racing as like a a group outing. And it was mostly bumper cars,
Yeah.
like you're not supposed to touch
Right.
anybody. You're supposed to treat the car or the golf cart like it's your own, and like if you rub paint, like you got to pay to get it fixed.
Huh.
No, that's not what I do. Don't break in front of me because I'm hitting you in the rear end, like
Is
and pushing
is
you out of the
K1 the
way.
one where you have to wear the helmet and the jumpsuit and all that? I did that
Yeah.
once in Lewiston, and I think you fellas know this, but I've got a rather large dome, so I'm like I don't know if you're gonna have a
You
helmet
had
that
the
fits. It's like, oh,
smallest
the
helmet.
helmets fit everybody. So they gave me a double XL helmet. I'm not kidding you. My face was smooched against the front of it like that. I was at one of my buddy's bachelor parties. And they still talk about it to this day.
It was
Yeah,
like
see, I've
this,
never seen it had that big.
just
Thanks,
sitting
pal.
sitting on
No,
the top of your
like I
head.
got it on. It had like a face mask. Literally, my nose was pressed against the bar like that, like it was smushed. Like I looked like a bug on a windshield.
Well, I wish you would
It's
have.
a
I
good
wish you
time.
would have taken some pictures. That was that.
There are pictures floating around, but I've done a nice job compartmentalizing my life, so you'll never see them.
Oh, you should definitely post that on our group chat. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I'll do that after. Sure.
Okay. Okay. All right. We had something that we wanted to talk about, and that was the social media post that I posted. Uh, does anyone want to do a better job than I would of describing the video and then giving their
Should we just play it?
thoughts?
Can we play it? Can you do a screen share and play it?
Good question. I probably could.
So I
Yes.
think the facts of this, the actual words he uses matter in this conversation.
You seem like you had some pretty strong feelings about it, Walter. I'm
I
excited
did.
to hear him.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, yes, fairly strong, fairly strong. Not, I mean, it's certainly not life changing, but I don't. Yeah,
I'm trying to see how I screen share. There's a share at the bottom. Oh, all right, gotcha.
I was wondering, Wally, when you were watching this, were you thinking of the young men that you have worked with for years and years?
that is 1,000%.
Yeah, that's what I was
Part of
thinking too, honestly.
that is 1,000% a factor in the. Yeah, I can't not bring my lived experience into that conversation.
Mm. Is there a way to summarize your lived experience succinctly? in
So
that category?
in terms of what I, Jesus Christ, I didn't
Well,
realize
I
we were
mean,
going to turn
not
it down.
everything. I just mean like with that particular.
No, I was talking about the screen share. Nate with his shirt
Yes.
off. It's not what I expected.
That's what the,
I
hey,
I'm
apologize.
trying.
Wally. That's what the people tune in for. They tune in for Nate Shirtless.
A cheap thrill.
No. So I've got a.
So my lived experiences. For 20 plus years I've worked with kids with behavioral and developmental disabilities, and kids who have acute behaviors. Many of whom have had to deal with various trauma throughout their lives, including and not limited to physical violence. Um, so I mean that's the extremely abbreviated version of my lived experience.
Yeah.
Ah, I'm trying to see where I
Oh,
have.
it was a story, right? You didn't post it. It was a
Yeah, but I still, if I saved it or I shared it, I should. And again, I shared it from my phone, but I should be able
so
to
as
access
you
it.
look, I can kind of tell you my initial reaction to it. My initial reaction wasn't against. I think words here matter. Is the story he was using is that as you're going to be tested at a 14-year-old who doesn't want to go for their daily jog, that you may have to resort to physical coercion, or I don't remember the exact term he used, but it was certainly an implied physical threat. Correct? Is that a fair
Yes.
assessment?
Uh,
So
I
I guess
wouldn't
my
call
initial
it a
reaction
threat.
is
I
like
would call it physical discipline. Yes, physically disciplining his child. That's what he was
physical
talking about.
compelling or compelled physically to do it. Um, and I guess my concern being that if you're going to resort to physical violence on to anybody because they said no to your saying they need to go for a run, there's a bigger issue at play there. I mean, to me that's like there's many ways to influence your children's behavior. And I think that if you so easily resort to violence, it's indicative of a much bigger issue in that specific case. I have a I have a problem with that, um, and I have a problem with the mentality where like. Short of a significant safety issue or something compelling. That again, this is my personal belief, right? Like, I'm not trying to impart anybody, and you're asking my opinion of that video. So my opinion was I disagree with it strongly. I think that if you're going to resort to physical violence in such a quick manner, um, that I just disagree with it. I don't find it very effective, and I think that you risk a far worse outcome, and that's a ruining of the relationship with your son, a mistrust. Your son no longer feels safe around you because if you're going to be so quick to go to violence over him saying no because he doesn't want to work out that day, like you can't keep him safe. You are the danger, right? And I think that to me is a far greater concern personally.
Yeah, no, I might have missed the threat of physical violence part, and that's my bad if I did. What I remember watching was my son's having significant emotions. He's having like an outburst. So I told him he has to run a mile with me or else. And what I remember specifically is if as a father you don't make him do that and you negotiate with him and you decide that you're going to have a conversation with him about this, he will then forever see you as a weak man. And because I'm not a weak man, I can say, fuck that, because I think critical thinking and teaching your children how to think critically is the most important thing you can do as a parent. Teach them to think critically, to be independent, and to make sure they can make their own decisions going forward. Because I always tell Sabrina this. You oh
Go ahead.
oh
What are you
I heard
hearing? Are
something.
you hearing that?
Oh
Yes,
I'm
yeah.
waiting for the
Oh, it's
videos of
something
the
you're doing.
cooking con Claudia.
So I say this. I say to I was like, what's going on? What's going on? But I say to Sabrina all the time, like the whole world out there is ready to destroy your children. They are ready to let them know they're not good enough. They're never going to be good enough, and they're going to try to hold them down. And so in this house, they're going to get support, and they're going to get love, and they're going to get honesty and truth and a way to figure out how to think critically on their own outside of us if God forbid one of us is gone. It's not going to be, you didn't do this, now run with me for a mile. I've seen so many kids distrust their parents. My lived experience, to your point, Tim, my lived experience is like I don't trust. I have a trust issues, and it's not because I was talked to like I was a real human being, independent. It just I was told I have to do this, and I never understood why. It's important to understand the why. It's important to learn through and have critical thinking experience. That's my thoughts on it.
Hmm.
But Wally, I might have also missed the physical violence threat, which is why I'm hoping
Well,
we find.
that's yeah. Maybe I misinterpreted it too. I don't know.
Well, I think
All
you're
right.
seeing it through your
Can
There
you
we
lens.
guys see
go.
this?
Okay, here we go.
Can you get? Can you see it and hear it?
See it, can't
I can
hear it
see
yet.
it. I can't hear it.
You can't hear it?
No.
It says on screen
He's got a
sharing, but
beautiful
apparently
accent for now.
you can hear him.
I can't hear him. I
No.
just watched it and I liked his accent.
Oh, okay.
He did have a great accent. No lies there.
But we can all read. So worst comes to worst, if you want to start over, we can read.
It's the levels to it. I can't read through his name.
Yeah, it's
Oh yeah.
Um, I think. Well, while we're waiting, the first things that this is a clip, right? It's a 2 minute long clip,
Yeah.
and what we're lacking is any kind of context about their relationship.
Yep.
I mean, we're thrust into this scenario where we don't know. Has the dad wrestled with his son for 14 years and played with him and tickled him and coached his sports teams and things like that? We don't have
Yep.
any of that context. So we're coming in basically um, given this scenario and we populate it because of that with our past experience, our own personal past experience. And so I think um, I think that one of the general rules of watching clips like this is, you know, beware the sound of one hand clapping. We don't know a lot. So, and that really does matter. Um, so I can see where you're coming from, Wally. If you're coming into it with the idea of, my experience has been working with kids who have been abused by fathers, and I've worked with the same kind of kids, not to nearly to the extent that you have. But yeah, I mean, it's uh, fathers are the problem, the main problem of the world, and the main solution of the world, in my opinion. And so, a lot of the emotional wreckage, which manifests in physical wreckage, drinking, smoking, all the kind of crap that happens you see in the ER. Um, I think if you're looking for one singular point where you need to go to look at who's responsible ultimately for the cause of these things, mostly, as well as who's responsible for the cure for a lot of these things, you need to go to the fathers.
yeah. I thought that was interesting because Tim, what you brought up as far as the context, and if Wally was using again his the boys and girls that he works with on a daily that have, I would say, unheralded trauma in their life to this point as far as their age. And then again, of course, those are not the individuals that I don't feel like that person in that video is speaking on being abusive, overly abusive, to an individual to the point where they're beating them down, physically or verbally, I see that as, again, a father or parent that feels like that's the best solution and it worked for them. And maybe they're trying to say that this might be a good idea for all fathers to do, which of course we know that that is not It's not good for all fathers to do. There can be some scenarios where that will work. That shouldn't be a daily thing that you're having to do. But young adults, and I'd say a 14-year-old can classify as a young adult depending on, you know, physical stature and mental stature. So I feel like they would be considered a young adults. Sometimes young adults need some sort of motivation like that. Motivation in the sense of you're not the person that you think you are right now, and I want to remind you of that.
Mm.
Because some kids, again, you know, they they don't know what it's like to be without anything. And therefore, in that scenario, sometimes hearing the word no sets off a lot of emotions, and that might be a systemic thing from when they were even younger, and the parents just allowed that to happen. And now they're somewhat forced or want to try and fix that or correct that wrong that they did many, many years ago. But yeah, I don't really like the form of physical abuse, obviously. I mean, I was whooped when I was a kid. Technically nowadays that's physical abuse. And back then, yes, it was physical abuse as well, but it felt more like discipline. And it also felt like growing up and experience and looking back on it as an adult, it was
Mm.
discipline. It wasn't abuse. I don't suffer trauma from that. Um, so
Mm.
I guess that's my perspective on the physical slash a father figure, you know, establishing dominance over one of his offspring.
Mm.
So I just have to
Yeah.
I can't just so the thing is about the kind of physical abuse, right? Is that all it teaches that
So,
kid.
real quick, can you define what you mean by physical abuse?
Yeah, I'm talking like slapping a kid, like making them drop their drawers, hit them with a belt, that kind of thing. Like, or even like you have to go now do this thing physically because I said you have to. You don't have control or autonomy over your own body. I consider that to be physical abuse.
Clarifying question. So, for every generation up to probably our previous one,
Yeah,
a father putting their kid or a mother putting their kid over their lap and spanking them was a pretty common way of
it was.
established way of disciplining. Are you including that in physical abuse? All spanking, whatever, is physical abuse.
Can I wait until I see your angle before I answer that?
No,
Can
I
I
just
ask, do you
we
define
just need
spanking
to
as being hit with your hand or any object? Can you use any object? Is that,
whatever.
is that spanking as well?
I just
Well,
feel like that's
so
we need to define your terms if we're
so
talking about physical abuse. Okay?
to go to my point, my choice is I've never done that. Never will, no matter what. And so,
For the record, neither have I.
yeah, no, fair
For
enough.
the
Fair enough.
record, I've done it a ton. So
Fair enough.
let's have the conversation.
So
Good for
I
you. I
think, I
never I
think,
never had a son, so I probably would have done
I
that
think,
to my
I
son if I
think
had a
when,
son.
when the
Yes.
person that gave birth to you and gave you life decides that they're going to hurt you, I think that that is a problem. And so, and it's a problem because what you're saying is be like me and accept the same values that I have or else. And that allows that child to escape this idea of critical thinking and my value. So Tim, you may differ from me, and that's right. That's cool. But like my value is critical thinking.
Well, the difference is
Niggas-
Tim's right and you're wrong, Chip. No, I'm just kidding.
so
Just kidding.
so
Sorry.
so this idea of critical thinking involves these kids are cute. They're very cute and they're very emotional and they have like all this stuff going on up here, right? And like it's hard to deal with that. But if
Mm,
you go in and you have a conversation and you talk to them, well, why do you feel this way?
yeah.
What is it about this that does this for you? We do snuggle time every night. Like
Mm.
sorry.
So a question. How much critical thinking does a 3-year-old have when they're going to run out into the street?
I don't know. I've always told Sabrina, like, there's no fucking way we can let them believe that they can't listen to us. But I don't do that by
Okay.
physical harm. I never have
So
done that by
okay.
physical harm.
Um, so you've never had the scenario where your child is just physically incapable of higher thoughts and reasoning and you in order to establish some kind of boundaries or structure, you've never had to physically. It's all just verbal.
No, I've had to hold them.
No,
Yeah, no, I've had to
no,
hold them and
no.
hug
Yeah, yeah.
them.
I think you can differentiate redirection or removal from corporal punishment, right? I think that's an important distinction, right? So you can pick a child up and remove them from a situation. You can redirect them away from a behavior physically using physical prompts without it becoming an aggression, an active aggression. And again,
What
I think
about
this is a
what
hard. What's that?
what about using physical violence as a threat? Like saying, I'm going to give you a boom boom, or I don't know what the word that you would
Well,
use to.
I think
I
the
like that.
behaviorist in me says that if that threat is not followed up on ever, then it's never going to have the weight. Like you can't just say I'm going to give you a boom boom and never follow through with a boom boom, right? So the threat comes with having either done or intention to do the act.
Well, I
Kids are
guess
smart. You
my
can't say that
question
to a kid
was
100.
my question was, do you and Chet see that both one and the same? That's still the threat of physical violence is the same as physical violence. Do you agree or disagree with that?
So I won't speak for all. I speak for me. I think the threat of physical violence is still a sign that we're not in the same team. You're not in my mind,
That's not what I asked, though. That's not what I asked.
I'm what?
I
What do you
asked if you both thought that physical violence is the same as a verbal threat of physical violence.
No, those are two different acts. But
yeah,
you can
those
be
are two different acts.
verbally aggressive
Yeah.
and physically aggressive. But obviously, a verbal account is not a physical aggression. If that's what you're asking, no,
Well,
they're not the same thing.
are they in the same category then? I know you guys know that they're not the same thing. Do you see them as the same thing of a form of physical violence, whether it's a threat of the physical violence or the
I
actual act of
view,
physical violence?
I don't know. It's hard for me to pass. I view it as a tool I would not use to discipline my child.
Yeah, I think I see it the same way. But
Either
there's
one of
a
them?
reason for it.
The threat of physical, yeah, I'm gonna spank your ass. I'm gonna whoop your butt. No, I don't think I've ever said that. I don't think I've said it tongue in cheek. Like I'm gonna spank your ass. Get over here. But I know like I'm joking around.
Actually,
Like
it's
I don't
Yeah. Well, I mean, uh, I don't know what. Well, do you have a boy and a girl?
I do.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. How old are they?
8 and 10.
Okay. Um, uh, in in my experience, having a young man or young boy who is extremely rambunctious, um, there's a level of what I don't want him to get hit by a car, and so
Mhm.
in order as a deterrent for him to go into the road, there's the physical pain of a loving
Mhm.
spanking, and those two things are not dissimilar. You can have those are
Yeah,
not
yeah,
mutually
100%,
exclusive.
100%.
Um, is a very effective deterrent
Yes.
because a kid doesn't understand the car and you can't occupy the same space at the same time. And
Yep.
so I'm not saying that every child needs to be spanked. I don't know that I ever spanked my daughter. All I had to do was look at her and she sort of started to whimper, which was a big change for me, having coming from my oldest who was a hellion. Um, so I certainly don't think it's, every child needs to be spanked in principle. Um, and I think this is an important conversation, but I also think that the point of the video was a little bit different than what we're talking about right now. I think it had
Yeah.
to do with where a son in particular derives his source of identity and strength. Because if you remember in the video, the father, the scenario, if the kid's angry and the father says, I want you to cool off, we're going to go for a run. And then the son says, I ain't going for a run. So what does the father do? Right? Does he make his son go for a run and establish and maintain that, hey, I'm in charge and you're not? Or does he sort of give in to that and then the son, um, uh, the sort of from a chain of events, comes to realize that his father's a pussy and he's not worth submitting to. And acknowledging the fact that one particular interaction with your child likely is not going to cause that kind of division like that. It's the things leading up to all those things. It seems to me like that was really the point of what he was talking about, is where does the son derive his source of identity and strength? And so do you see the, do you think his correlation between a son seeing his father as weak, uh, going towards either excessive dominance or excessive weakness, do you think that's legitimate?
I think in that I can understand that certainly that argument, but I think there's a lot of different tools you can use in that situation that doesn't come down to the physical strength or being the more dominant figure in that. Like there's a lot of tools you can use to deflame or to take the
Deconflict.
fight out
Yeah.
of that
Deconflict.
situation
Yeah.
without having to use the threat or the perception of violence or some sort of more masculine approach. Like you can reason with them, and I personally feel like and now I agree with you, Tim. That's very effective. It's very effective, and I'm not questioning that in any capacity. It's not how, again, I was not raised in that way. I was not up out in any capacity at any age of my life. So I think it's probably my viewpoint speaks to, again, my lived experience in the way that I'm raising my kids as well. But
Well,
yeah, I don't know where I was going with
I
that.
think it's also important to point out, like, the context and the audience that he's probably focusing on is probably twofold. It could be fathers that need to be more masculine, and it could also be, I feel like, the communication piece of a calm alpha male, so to speak, talking to somebody, not raising their voice, not, talking in anger, having a conversation with somebody who is not listening and doing it in a calm way. And basically, I mean, some of the scariest people I've ever met will walk up to someone and tell them, I will do ridiculous things to you in a very calm voice. And it seems to be received in a very dominant way, meaning I'm going to put my tail between my legs and submit. Now, that's again, that's the far end of the spectrum that I think he's going. I think he's talking about talking to a teenage boy who seems to think that they are an adult figurehead and talking to them in a calm manner after. Probably this isn't like a one-time incident. This is like we're seeing he's talking about a 15 seconds of an interaction that has probably lasted 30 minutes where they've had a conversation to try and calm somebody down. And then this is not a last resort, but this is a calm and defining task using calm, collective, effective communication with someone who is probably, again, not throwing a temper tantrum, but thinking that they run the house and they've had several incidences of this over the week. That's the way I look at the small snippet. But overall, if you want to categorize it with putting everybody on the same spectrum and then throwing it where it lands, it's not something that I condone, but again, through the actions of the delivery and how what's led up to this conversation, how it's delivered really matters, and it can be an effective way to communicate with somebody who maybe 30 minutes ago they weren't listening, but now they are, and you have their attention.
No, I like where you guys are going with this, but the question would be, right? He's posting this 2-minute video because you've all made really good points, right? It's a 2-minute video
Thank
about the
you. Thank
situation.
you. Thank you. Appreciate
So it's a 2-minute. Okay, actually, you made 0 good points. Also,
it.
so
That's also
so
okay. Thank you.
so if you're talking about how your son at 14 years old and you have to do this, and if you don't do it, they have no respect for you. How the hell did they get to 14 years old where they're acting out like this against you then? Like I just think that there's a real point to be made, and I get that I'm
Oh,
probably not
Chet,
majority.
just you wait.
Oh
Just
no,
you wait.
no.
I will.
Listen,
I
listen.
really want to archive this, and we revisit it when you both have teenage boys,
No, no, I
and
get that.
their influence. The people that have the most influence over them are the people that they see on a daily basis, and it has nothing to do with their parents. It has nothing to do with what their parents told them up to this point. They're going to be influenced by things that you have no control over and by people you have no control over. And
I
of course, you
understand that.
hope you made the right
In
decisions,
part,
but
in part.
I get all these things. Like these are not things I haven't thought through. Like I get it. But there's still a this house is your safe space because I already know the world's going to try to tear you down. That's that's really what it is for me. I'm not saying it's kumbaya in this house. Like there are times he can be an animal sometimes, and I have to find a way to talk to him and reach him. I just don't do it that way. That's all.
yeah, no,
And it's and,
I'm saying this is I'm telling you what's coming. I am foreseeing the future. I'm telling you what's coming no matter what you do, Chet and
yeah.
Wally. And Tim can speak on that as well. Like
Well, and I'm not here to say like I have a 17 and a 19-year-old boys, and so I know what's up, because every kid's different, right? I I don't think I think I spanked my younger son very infrequent. I can't even remember, maybe a handful of times. My older son, it was a lot because it was his attitude and his demeanor, and even pre like sort of like consciousness. uh, and I'm not talking about bringing out the belt and wailing them, but little flicks,
Yeah.
like a physical reminder of like, oh, who's in charge here? Um,
did your
but
youngest son see you do that?
no, we did it in private. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a personal interaction. Yeah, and so when I physical abuse, I is properly defined, I would say, as out of anger. Um, uh, it is not therapeutic. It is not restorative. That's basically how I would define physical abuse, as opposed to spanking. I would say it's personal. It's loving. It is directed. It's limited. It's measured, and I think it's very effective. Um, so, but I think it's important. Another thing to think about is uh, what balcony are we viewing this from? So if
Right?
we were viewing this from a balcony of the 1850s, be like, yeah, you got a boy who's misbehaving, you whack him and he gets in line, right? We're viewing this from a balcony, and let's be honest, of a hyper feminized society, which prizes emotions over um, some of the more what up to this point has been a very common way of understanding how men and women are different. And so is it that we are so careful and cautious? And I speak as one who thinks about this all the time. And uh, uh, are we so careful and cautious about our children's emotions that we sacrifice um, growing them up into respectable men and women because we don't want to hurt their feelings? Uh, so I think that we definitely are. We are living in a feminized society where the female, not just the female sentiment, this sort of emotional sentiment, is ruling the day, and I think is sort of influencing the way that um, a more balanced way to view something like discipline, particularly with young men.
Well, let me. Oh, is someone else talking?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So let me, Tim, I'm hearing everything you're saying, and it does make sense. I do think in some ways it can become too feminized. Like I 100% agree with that. I will say this though, and I'm comfortable saying this to you boys. The most violence I've ever received was from a woman, right? Like by far, and it was bad. So I think what you're saying though is that there's like these two ways of viewing things, and there's um, like the fathers have to take control and make sure that they understand how things work and that they bring in their families and they make sure their families know that they protect them. So,
Hmm.
because I was not here when you said it, but I did actually kind of relate to your kid's going to run to the street, give them a spanking, make sure they don't. That's a way of protecting them. I do it differently, but I can understand the thought. And so also abuse coming out of being malicious. That's where mine came from, as opposed to where uh, you're physically reminding someone, almost like the rubber band on your thing, like, nope, don't
Yeah,
do that, don't
yeah.
do that. Is out of love. So I'll do some real thinking through that because it's a lot about context and our own personal experience where we come from on this stuff. And so far, so good in my life. I've made my choices about how I'm going to do it. So far, so good. But Nate, my hope is that we're
So,
still doing this 10 years from now. And maybe I can talk about where they both are and whether or not I share some of those
Oh, I wasn't
struggles. And
referring to like I don't think you guys are gonna have to resort to violence. I just
no, no, I know, but
the
I
the
but let me explain.
unruliness, the phase where they dislike everything about their parents and where they live and like that just again it's
Oh,
foretelling the future. It will happen.
Yeah.
it
It,
will.
Well,
who knows
and,
how long it'll last? It's
so
and
just
hey, Chad, I
I,
think, oh, go ahead, Wally.
no, I guess my concern is that like it also pushes the line of what is normal, right? So where I totally understand this conversation, Tim, and it's a very intelligent, well thought out um, uh, approach, and I absolutely hear what you're saying. But my concern is also that what about those people that aren't as well balanced as you are? Is that we now have normalized this and then driven it again, push that line a little further back where it's more easily abused and the impact on the children that come from the families because it's very hard to detect where is that line. Like I can hear where you clearly know what that line is,
Mm.
and I think when you were describing what abuse is, that makes a lot of sense to me. But I don't know if it makes a lot of
Well,
sense to a lot of
well,
people out
I,
there.
I
There's a
mean,
high percentage of very unbalanced people out
sure,
there
sure.
that this could
But
easily be abused.
I think perhaps, I mean, we're very familiar with the overuse of physical violence and a domineering kind of presence from a father or a mother. And so, in response to that, we've sort of backed it off to a point where we don't want to cause any kind of emotional or psychological damage in any capacity. But we're not as familiar with the damage that comes from over that overemphasis. And I think it really is more damaging, or not more damaging. I think it would maybe be equally, but different. Who let the dogs out?
sorry.
Who?
I
It's
think I
my
think it
dogs.
could be, I think it could be equally but differently damaging to have this sort of boundaryless, soft. You do your emotion should be the guide of how you interact with the world. And I'm not saying anyone here is espousing that, but I think we do need to recognize that uh, there's it neither far right nor far left is the way to be. It's straddling the double yellows, and that
Yeah,
there's a ditch on either side.
Yeah, Tim, negligent parenting
agreed.
is the one where you don't talk about critical thinking and you look at your child as like someone you own, right? It's just, I own this person, and so they're going to become like me, or authoritative authoritarianism parenting is where you're gonna force them physically to be who you are, whether they like it or not. And there's like this different authoritative, which is like, and even within that, Tim, there is spankings. Like those are like okay, because you're still teaching your children the right things, and it's coming out of love. And it really, when it comes down to it, it's like if whatever you're doing for your child is coming out of number one, you love them, you care about them, it's important to you where they end up and how they
Yeah.
do in their life. That's really the most important thing. People really
Yeah.
mess that up, though. I think it's
Well, I
mostly
also
negligent and abusive parents. Because to your point, Tim, negligence is as damaging as abuse. I agree with that.
Do you see that how the guy in the video described if the father doesn't basically win in that interaction, whether that's through you're coming with me or through critical thinking. If the father doesn't win, um, how that young man will grow up into this sort of like mutated form. It, do you agree with that? I mean, regardless of how the father wins, whether it's through loving spanking or critical thinking or whatever, do you think it's important that the father wins?
What do you define winning as? Like having a good, like the kid growing up to be a productive member of society. Like what's winning?
No, I mean winning in the moment.
Yeah, I think it's
Um,
important. Yes.
yeah. So whether, however the father thinks it's best in the moment to guide that young man, whether that's, oh, this kid needs a spanking, he's just insolent and he's not willing to reason and he's spanking, not at 14, obviously. Obviously I'm talking about younger.
Yeah.
Or if it's hey, this is something that we can reason out and help me understand. Let's come up with a working scenario, or you know what,
Yeah.
you need to do the dishes for whatever, it's important that the father wins.
It's important that the issue is resolved, is what you're saying, right?
No. Well, yes, but
On the father's side.
it's
Yes.
important that the issue resolves in the way that the father is leading the son in it resolving.
Yeah, I don't care as much about that as I do that he knows that whatever direction I'm trying to steer him in is the one that will lead him to the best positive outcome. What I do think, Tim, to your point
Well,
though,
that sounds like winning to me, how you
it
describe.
it kind of does because I know
I
what you're
I just
saying.
don't want to say it. I don't want to say it.
No. I think it's more complicated than people want to talk about, right? So this is our podcast. We're talking about being articulate, being thinking it through, and having critical thinking, right? So in critical thinking
Yes,
terms,
yes. But also,
I'm
not to interrupt you, but also in the again, what I see this as, the video has 3.1 million views. I would argue that not one of those 3.1 million people see this as I want to abuse my child. They see this as probably potential personal growth as a parent, so they're willing to listen to an objective thought. They may not agree with it, but they can take something from it because they are very articulate, because they want to be a better parent. And I would argue that those are the all of the people that have viewed it see it that way. Not that you guys don't see it that way, but we seem to be focusing on, like, again, this video is not creating abusive parents. I feel like I want to be very upfront and say that. I don't think this video is creating abusive parents. I think this video is educating parents that potentially were abusive or abused when they were a kid, and then using some of that same thought process to, again, get a win, if you want to say it like that, or again, use an authoritative voice and a thought to educate their child.
Mm.
Yeah, I think anytime you can have somebody that makes you challenge your why, right? Like to really think about why you think the way you do, and have a conversation about why it is you feel X, Y, or Z. And that's always a good thing, right? And I think we need to have more of that. So regardless of whichever side of this issue you come out on, I think the ability to sit down and have an intelligent conversation that's not taken like as a personal, like you disagree with how I was raised. And have an intelligent conversation is a plus for society, for fathers, for people who are trying to guide our young. Like, yeah, we should be able to articulate why we feel this way. So I think from that perspective, it's always going to be a good thing.
Yeah, no doubt. It just it puts it out there so we can have a conversation about it. And I just want to finish the thought that I had, which is that then Cameron or Haley, they go out and do something. We had a conversation. And in my opinion, the world is a lot of individualistic people in America, especially who are going to try to like beat you. That's this idea of competition, right? So when it goes wrong because they didn't listen to me, that, Tim, I think to your point, because I think you might be right about this, that's where I get the win. But it's more of a conversation. It's a process as opposed to like an immediate like physical thing. I'm not saying one's right or one's wrong, but to me, that's the way I approach it. Like, okay,
Mm.
you're going to go out there.
Yeah.
something's not going to go right. You're going to come back to me, and I'll be like, remember this time we talked about this.
Yes.
And so that I think is really my approach to it. But I promise you on this podcast right now, if we're doing this in 10 years, and I'm like, man, I fucked this up because Cameron's an asshole, I swear I will come on here and I will say it.
Well, listen, I
I
think
don't see that happening.
What's that?
I
I don't see that happening, man. He's a good kid.
No, I don't either. He's a great kid. Yeah.
may Cameron. How old is Cameron?
He's 9,
Okay,
almost 10.
may he grow and be blessed and all that. I mean, like I'm sure he's a young man that's going to do great things. Um, and, but to show you respect, that largely depends on you.
Yeah.
So here's a controversial statement, which is absolutely true if you think about it for 3 seconds. Men will always be dominant.
Yeah.
There's no amount of group of women that can wrest anything from men if they will otherwise, right?
Yes.
And there's a lot of bad men in history who have done a lot of bad things. So what is the only group that can protect women from bad men? Well, that's good men, right?
Yeah.
And so what we're doing in parenting partly is teaching them responsible dominance. We're teaching them to be compassionate. We're teaching them to be loving and caring and thoughtful and protective. But in order to do those things, you have to be an animal. You have to be able to recognize your strength and then learn to control it. And
Jordan Peterson.
yeah, I mean, it's Jordan Peterson is echoing what I think responsible, loving men have known throughout the centuries. And so when it comes to parenting your child, I mean, when I interact with young fathers who have sons, and even daughters, but mostly sons, I'll say, "Are you wrestling with your boys?" To me, that's one of the most important questions to ask a young father. Are you wrestling with your boys? Because what is it? What does a young man learn through wrestling with his father? A, this man could destroy me absolutely if he wants to. B, he's not destroying me. He's measuring his strength and he's administering it in a way that is showing me that he's in charge, but also that he loves me. And so I think wrestling is one of those very practical parental tips for fathers interacting with their sons. And maybe I would say this is what I would want to ask this guy. How have you been interacting? Have you been wrestling with your son for the past 14 years?
Yeah.
Does he understand that you can destroy him if you wanted to, but you're not going to because you love him? I think that's really important.
Yeah, I think it is because that conversation could again be seen as a your offspring challenging you in a
Mhm.
sense, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with
Mm.
that.
Yeah.
Again,
Every day.
the context of knowing the whole situation would benefit all of us. But yes, I agree with you, Tim.
But the video produced this conversation, which is honestly very cool. And I will tell you this, Tim, I have he tries to tackle me every day. And one day though, I'm down here in the
Gave
man's
him the
room.
little forearm shiver,
So
threw him into
I
the
didn't even hear
wall.
him coming. I trip over a thing, he brings me down. He still brings that up to this day. I'm like, oh, you think that's real? You think
Yeah.
that was true? Try
Yeah.
again. And so we totally do all that stuff. And
That's great.
I think that point you make is very real. Like
Yeah.
not so much that he can't win, it's so much that he knows that I can and I don't because I love him. And I think that I 100% agree with that. You can't, like you said, you can't disagree with that concept. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And if I could, I want to pull some really old history into this. So there's a story in the Bible where this guy Jacob, who he is out in the wilderness by himself, and he knows that he has some kind of destiny, but doesn't know what it is just yet. And it's a very strange story because it says that he kind of lays his head on, lays down in the wilderness, and then all of a sudden he's wrestling with this man. Some stranger just kind of shows up and they start wrestling, and they wrestle all night. And then just before the sun creeps over the horizon, um, uh, the guy he wrestles with is an angel, presumably the angel of the Lord. And the angel says, "Let me go." And Jacob says, "I will not let you go until you bless me." And the angel blesses him, and um, at that moment, the angel puts his hip out of socket and sort of basically cripples him, kind of for the rest of his life. He walks with a limp for the rest of his life. But it's a reminder that he was sort of defeated in a way by the Lord, but in response, the Lord gave him a new name, and that new name was Israel. That's where we get Israel from, is from this interaction with wrestling. Israel means wrestles with God. It's this interpersonal struggling, wrestling for identity. Who am I? And in that interaction, you have the sovereign God who interacts with his son and defeats him. But from that defeat, he gets a new name, and that name is his strength for the rest of his life. And we still have Israel to this day. And I think that's a really good. It's a symbolic and mythical in a way, even though I believe it's true. It's mythical in a way that it provides meaning, and I think it's instructive for fathers today about how to interact with our sons, not to pop their hips at a joint, but that the interaction between the father and son is in a way a naming event. And fathers need to name their children. And not just give them a physical name, but it's a process of conferring identity to their sons in particular.
Yeah, no doubt. The story is the story, right? Maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but I do understand that. I understand that concept. I just the way that I do it is different than maybe the rest of us or some of us. But as long as we accomplish it as men, we're doing our jobs.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think it's
Yep.
important to be
Okay.
genuine to who you are. Like if I tried to do something in the manner that Tim or Chet would do it, it's not true to who I am, right? So like I think that like if you're trying to fake being something that you aren't innately, you're in trouble anyway. So what I think is you play to your strengths, you do the best you can, and a lot of that's dependent on your life experience. How you were raised, all that sort of things, and that there's not necessarily a right versus a wrong. There's just different paths and different approaches, and it's important to understand and glean from others' experiences to see what you could have done differently or how you could have sharpened your tools or what you could have done. That doesn't mean that anyone has done anything wrong. It's just that people do things differently,
Yeah,
as they should.
I see that.
All right. Tell me, Wally, what's the best thing about being a father?
Ooh, good question.
Oh Jesus!
Good question, Nate.
It's going around, so
Okay.
prepare your answer.
It's a process. It's like the best thing about planting a garden is you get to like watch it change over the seasons, and you get to see the bees come in, and you get to see the flowers as it's blossoming, and you get to see it bigger, and you water it. Like it's watching the whole process, being able to step back and see the change and affect the change, and knowing the energy you put in is the result you get out. So it's hard for me to pinpoint one thing that I feel that's kind of a cop out answer, but that's my answer.
I'll accept it. I like it. So kind of. I mean, you could have been a little more specific. I think, like maybe he actually your son
To
or
give
daughter
great foot
actually
rubs,
listened
like
to you
what?
once, and it just melted your heart. But
Oh,
I
like a
mean,
singular moment? Like what's my best moment as a father? That's a different question.
oh, just or something. I guess it is a different question. Yes, Tim, you're up.
Conferring identity. I think that's one of the most important and challenging, humbling aspects of being a father is the conferring of identity. Children receive identity from their fathers. I think that's the fundamental nature of reality, regardless of what we believe or where we grow up or what history epoch we are raised in. I think fathers' job is the conference of identity. And in men, young men in particular, that's the conference of strength.
Yeah, good answer. Chet?
Well, hold on. And I'm super sorry to do this, Wally. Can you repeat your answer? Because I usually can hear you guys. I usually can hear you guys, but like for some reason I couldn't hear what you were saying when I was out there.
No,
It was, yeah, yeah.
you missed
He
it.
said
You got to move
he
on.
doesn't enjoy being a father. That was his answer. Just kidding.
I said I enjoy the process. I enjoy the watching the growth
Like
and seeing the
watching your
change,
garden,
affecting
yeah.
the change, and like
Okay. Yeah. Mine, and again, it becomes my personal story. I like to watch him live a life and break the cycle, right? That I went through. So it's really exciting to see him understand. Like if you ask him right now, I would bet my life on it. You say, Cameron, like if I'm gone tomorrow and any three of you step in to help him and you say, hey, I'm so sorry, but like what's the most important thing in life? He would say to help people that can't help themselves. And he's learned that. And that's like a part of who he is. And you see it on the football field, or you see it at school. It's really cool to see that. And with Haley, because it's a step situation, it's her understanding that um, just because things didn't go so well, maybe there is someone that can help. Maybe there is someone you can believe in. Maybe there is somebody that um, will step in for you. And it doesn't have to be on like a certain set of rules. Like it's just this is what it is. So I have it's the joy of my life to be a dad. Like, thank
Mhm.
goodness I get to do this.
Mhm.
Cool.
all right,
Yeah,
Nate. Same
good
question to
answer.
you.
Yeah, Nate.
Yeah, I mean it's similar to what what you guys have all said. I mean, definitely to let everyone know I'm at a different stage in life than the rest of these gentlemen. I don't have kids at home. My daughter's grown. I have three grandchildren, so of course I will answer the question in the second one that I asked. The best moment as a father was when my daughter thanked me for doing the things that I did while she was growing up. As an adult, she did that, so that was pretty cool.
It's amazing. Actually, that's amazing.
Yeah. So, but now it's just, again, looking back, the fruits of your labor for sure. She just graduated with a master's. So between me and her mom, like she had two good role models. So we did, we like to think that we did a good job. But when we see her raising her kids, we think about like, man, how could we have done things differently through our grandchildren? Like giving her a little bit more advice on how to be more calm as a parent with young children, and just literally like they don't understand what you're saying, literally. So it doesn't matter if you say it louder in a different tone, they don't understand what you're saying. So it does no like being angry and explaining to them why you're angry is, I mean, there's research that it just doesn't compute. Not that it doesn't register. Of course, they'll understand some of it the older they get, but you're better off guiding them in a direction of the good things that you want them to do. Like instead of telling them, no, you don't hit people or hurt people, you just say, oh, if you like people, this is, instead of hitting them, you high five them, but you don't hit them. You don't say that it's bad because some of the educational stuff out there says that if you tell them that it's bad, they don't understand what that is. They understand what good is for some reason. We don't really know, but their brain just doesn't understand. It'll understand when you tell them it's bad. So, yeah. All right, what else do we want to talk about?
Hmm.
Did you guys have anything off of sports other
I was
than
gonna say,
sports that you
off of sports. Tim, do you have anything off of sports? Because I have sports stuff,
Yeah.
but
So my question is, um, do you think Diggs is gonna do you think it's possible that he would be removed because of the commissioner's special deal, uh, rather than actual conviction?
he
yeah,
could be
not
Yeah,
anymore.
suspended, yeah.
it's possible. It's certainly possible. I think it's more likely that Barrymore does, our defensive lineman. But yes, the commissioner's absolutely done that before, and he hates the Patriots, so I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah. It probably won't. Honestly, uh, if it happens, I don't think it's good for Diggs. It's not gonna. You're right, Wally. I think Barmore's probably more than likely like that's sooner. I think the Diggs thing because
It
it's
sounds bad.
still
They both sound bad. Barmore sounds really bad.
yeah, but his happened 4 months ago,
Yeah.
so that's also why I say the timing. Like Diggs, it recently happened. It's still in litigation. I mean, the Patriots probably already know because they did their own investigation. I'm sure they probably already
Yep.
know. So I'm not saying that they suspend him to get ahead of the curve, but if they wait, you know, worst case scenario is we're in the Super Bowl and they suspend Stephon Diggs. I think that'll
If they
take
were
that
going to,
long
it would
or
have already,
longer.
right?
Yeah, I
If
think
they were
Well,
going to
so.
same
suspend
with
either one of them, they'd be suspended already.
well,
I think so.
I don't know. I think Barmore is probably again, that's probably going to happen in the next week.
They
Can you
typically err on
guys?
the side of caution.
I feel like they do, but I don't think this is going to wait until next year. As far as Barmore, I mean, Stephon Diggs, it's happening in December. So, like, where the season's almost over. I don't think it's going to be resolved by the NFL in 3 months. Same with, it won't be resolved in court in 3 months. So, Barmore is a lot closer to that being the case. So, that's why I say he might be suspended. But they probably both deserve a suspension. I'm not going to lie.
I mean,
Does Diggs have any history of this?
Yes.
wait, history
Yeah.
of assault?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, he does? What is it?
Yes. I don't know. Look it up. This isn't the
Oh, I
first
can look.
time.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up.
Yeah. It's not the first time. I was hoping that the Patriots would pick up his brother from the
Me
like
too, but
off of
they couldn't.
waivers, not paying him what he's owed. But I wanted them. We need some help in the secondary, man.
They
There's no
couldn't
doubt
Did you
do
see
about
his
that.
numbers? Do you see his numbers?
Yes, they're
Like
terrible,
I
but he's
saw some
also
ridiculous statistic, like where receivers are have the highest completion in the entire NFL completion rate against him. He's dead last.
yeah, he's like his brother though. When they
Wait,
don't like the situation that they're in, whether it's the team or they shut off.
Yeah.
so hold on.
Uh,
What is he an essential part of the Patriots team, or could they put
Diggs?
somebody else? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, he is. He is.
but Drake May is so good, which is why after this I want to
It's
go into the
true.
MVP conversation. He spreads the ball. Tim Drake May. Imagine having 15 options and somehow you find a way to get all of them like just an equal percentage every game. Like that. This guy is so good at what he does. He's so
he
real.
saw it when he watched Bo Nix when he was watching the Broncos. Bo Nix, the Broncos are going to be the number one seed. So Bo Nix
Nate,
looks really good, just
Nate,
like Drake May. They're like a
Nate.
mirror. They're like mirror images.
Yeah, no, get out of Dodge. Now you're just trying to troll us. No,
Yeah, I can. I felt the troll. I felt the troll
Just a
coming.
little bit.
I'm gonna
Just a little
bite.
bit.
But let me just
Just
say
a little bit.
before we move on, if Stephon Diggs really did that, I don't want him on our team. I don't want a guy like that on the Patriots. If Christian Barmore really kicked his own daughter out, or I guess put her outside because some girl had a temperature a couple degrees from what he wanted, and he acted like that, like a fucking small child, I don't want him on our team. So I will say that. That
Well,
said,
question. What if Mike Vrabel approached Diggs and said, "Hey, I know you're upset right now. I'm going to make you run a mile just so you cool off."
I bet
Would you
Stephon
be?
Diggs would have respected that because he wouldn't have gone and strangled anybody.
You know what that's called, Nate? That's called a callback, and I like it, Tim. I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. That's what they call it in the biz, a callback.
In the comedy biz, they call it a callback.
Oh, okay.
No,
Well,
Yeah,
no,
that was very good.
I don't think that the Patriots need either one, but man, it's going to be more difficult without
Oh
either
boy,
one.
we need them both. I think. I mean, what are we talking about? This is already a team that's playing well above their head, right? This is not a team that we expected to be where they're at. They're not like a perennial favorite. They're playing at a level that far exceeds our expectations. So I think in order for us to continue to win in the playoffs, we need everyone back. I love seeing that we're getting two big pieces back this week. We can't fail. He's our best receiver. And he's
No,
playing
yeah,
like a
no
true number.
question.
Our text, he's playing like a true number one right now. Like we
No
lose
question.
him, we lose a huge piece of our offense. Especially is Keyshawn back?
Yeah, he will be this week. Yep.
Yeah, Keyshawn
Is he? Oh,
Booty.
thank God. Yeah.
Yep. So Booty's back this week, but like I just saw Efton Chisholm get a chance, and I know it's the Jets. I know it's the Jets, but I like to see that.
Yeah.
I like to see, and Josh McDaniels, Wally, I'm not sure if you know about this guy. He's pretty good at his job, and so he kind of holds.
Well, I've heard otherwise. I have heard otherwise. That is
From
not a
from a
universal
respectable
opinion,
source
Chester.
too. From a respectable
He has
source.
Well,
been-
I don't know about that last part, but
He's been great. He's been great about holding certain weapons right until when you really need them. So assuming I don't assume this, but
Kyle
assuming
Williams.
he's done that again, there's like a Chisholm or there's someone on defense. Like we don't want to
Kyle
lose
Williams.
Barmore and Diggs. I don't want to lose them. But I think there's probably a plan that we're just not aware of in that case.
No.
I think so. I have the faith this year because I've seen it. I'm like, man, once we brought Josh McDaniels back, whole different team.
Well, once we know that Drake May needs to carry the team. Like without a doubt, that's got to happen if we want to succeed in the playoffs.
Yep.
To Wally's point, we want to have everybody back healthy. It'd be great if we could take this week off as a bye and rest everybody. But
Let's
in
go,
all
Trey Lance.
honesty, if we want to hold the second seed, we need to win to guarantee that. We could rest people. And
Second
then
seed
hope.
still gets a bye.
No.
Huh?
Second
No,
seed
doesn't get him a
right?
bye, gets him a home playoff.
I almost think that we just kind of pull like I don't know, man.
That's what the Chargers
We're
are
not
doing.
getting the first. We're not getting the first with all the people that who Denver's playing the Chargers, right?
Yeah, and then
And the
they're
Chargers
pulling
aren't playing
Herbert.
any of their starters.
Nope.
So, like, what are we doing? Just pull our starters. Let's stay healthy. We got to get Campbell some reps. We got to get Williams some reps, and just be entirely focused on. So, correct me if I'm wrong. The matchups for the third seed might be a little better than the matchups for the second seed. Is that true?
Yes, that is entirely
Well, the
true.
second seed might get us either Jacksonville or potentially San Diego. And
Yeah,
both
but we could also
both
get
warm
Buffalo.
weather teams, but both warm weather teams coming to a cold
Yeah.
weather stadium. But that's if we get the second seed, not the third seed. If we have the third seed, there's a higher percentage that we play the Bills.
Bring them
I
on.
don't want.
Which I want. I want
them
that.
all.
I want to see him. I want to see him later. I don't want to. I
against
don't
the
want to
Bills.
see him
I
in the first one.
1,000% want to play the Bills this play.
I want to play the Bills so bad.
Well, I mean, I do too. We blew a 21-point lead in the first half and didn't win. So yeah,
That's because Josh Allen's incredible, right?
Yeah.
And so
it has nothing to do with Josh McDaniels not doing his job, does it?
He scored
it does
30
not.
plus points. If
Tim,
you
what do you
score
think of
30
Josh
points in the NFL, you should win the game.
Wasn't
Yeah,
Josh
for sure.
You're gonna
McDaniels
say it's-
associated with the Broncos at some point?
He was.
Yes,
Yeah, he beat
yes,
the
was.
Patriots
Yes, he was. He
actually.
failed miserably. He failed miserably.
But he did beat the
That's all I-
Patriots with Tim Tebow.
Tim
Tim
Tebow.
Tebow.
He did. That actually happened.
Yep.
Yep.
Wow.
So
Tim Tebow.
Chet believes Drake May's
The
the
man deserves a
MVP.
chance.
Yes, I think Drake May is the
Do you want
MVP.
to tell us why?
Yeah, because he's ahead of Matthew Stafford in every single category except for touchdown passes, which I think that's a big one. And that's hard to make that argument against Matthew Stafford for that reason. But if you look at what Drake May has done, the way he spreads the ball around, and when you look at the weapons that Stafford has, they're like Puka Nacua, you've got Devontae Adams, you've got so much going for you, and we have
Arguably two of the
Stephon
three
Diggs.
best receivers in football.
Right, like all on the same team. And I like Matthew Stafford, by the way. So I want to be clear about that. But Drake May, what he's been able to do this year in some of the most clutch situations, like let's not forget, fourth down, touchdown pass. Let's not forget when he had to close the game out, threw to Hunter Henry on a fourth down again. Like he is just killing it on crucial situations, spreading the ball around, running when he needs to, making good decisions. There was a, I think it was last week, even though they were killing the Jets, I saw him drop back, and I understand what he's looking at, and he was like committed found a way to drop back in that last second and then turn and go this way because Stephon Diggs was covered. And I was like, that is exceptional quarterback play. I think that he is, I wouldn't say the far and away favorite, but I think he should be the favorite and he should win it.
I remember him giving up a 21-point lead, and although he didn't give up any of those points, he had a chance to win, and he did not.
Fair enough. But didn't
I
Matthew Stafford just throw 3 interceptions this past week?
sure. I don't think Matthew Stafford will win it based off of solely this year. I think his body of work is going to be taken into consideration,
I can see that too.
and therefore I think that's why he'll be the MVP and not Drake May. I think Drake May also, it's like it is one of the best seasons that a quarterback has ever had, but I don't think Dan Marino is the only other one that had one like it. And I don't think he wasn't in the MVP race that year, I don't believe. So
Like I
it
guess
was
I
also the similar situation where it's both like their come out year and there isn't any consistency from history, and that's just because they haven't been doing it long enough. But
Yeah.
you see, so kind of a bias victim of that, right?
Well, what are
no,
you saying?
I don't think that's fair. Like the MVP should be MVP of this season strictly. And if you like to switch their places, I think Drake May does just as well, if not better, on the Chargers. Whereas I don't believe Stafford does as well on the Patriots. I think is what it comes down to. If the Patriots
With the
without
with the
put it
man,
this
the
way,
myth, the legend, Josh McDaniels
put,
as has his
I
offensive
tell
coordinator,
put it this way. Put it this way.
he wouldn't perform well.
No, he'd be like he would be they'd be butting heads. Like it's different to have a young guy you're bringing up versus a 20-year NFL vet. Um, Again, you take Drake May off the Patriots, they're not half the team they're of their record. Like you take him off of that team and put in uh, anybody else. I mean, think of anybody. Mac Jones. We're not on the precipice of a 1 or 2 seed. Again, you take Stafford off of his team. That's still a really freaking good team. That there's probably a dozen NFL quarterbacks that would do an exceptional job quarterbacking that team, that running back, those wide receivers. I don't think I really don't think it's particularly close. We
I'm
were the
gonna
worst team in
disagree with
football
you.
last year.
I'm gonna
We were the
disagree
worst
with
team
you
in football
about
last year.
Matt Stafford not being as good if he were to come to our staff because, and you cited that, oh, it's an older veteran quarterback dealing with a coach. So you have an inflated personality that you have to deal with. He was traded to the Rams and had a very young coach in Sean McVay, who's an offensive genius, and they seem to gel pretty well. And there's no
And
overinflation of
correct me if
either
I'm
of the
wrong.
egos.
Has Matthew Stafford ever not thrown to an elite wide receiver? He's
I
just been
don't know.
saddled with the best receivers in football his entire
You had,
career.
You had Megatron,
I mean,
right?
he's
And
been blessed for
throughout his
sure.
entire career. So, like, all right. I mean, that's an important context. There are no all pro wide receivers in the Patriots this year.
Oh, guys, hold
Yeah,
on.
nor were there last year or the year before. Like,
Breaking
I
news.
don't
How many
disagree
all
with
pro
it.
wide receivers has Matthew Stafford thrown to?
A lot,
A,
I'd
A lot.
guess.
a
A lot,
lot.
I'd guess. And I don't know if they were all pro when they were with him, but some of them have left
Megatron?
and become all pro. Yeah, Megatron, but who's another all pro that you could name? I can name two, but I don't know if they were on the same staff at the same
Was
time
he
or
out?
they
Was
were
he out?
rookies. Amon-Ra St. Brown was on the team when Matthew Stafford was there, but I don't think again, he wasn't an all pro then. He might be now, but
Guys,
I
I got word just now that the Patriots and the Denver Broncos are going to play in Denver at some point in the next 5 years. And I think that we should make a trip out there.
I think you
hey,
I'd
should.
love to.
I
I'd
just
love
want
to.
to clarify.
Chester.
Did I hear one of you say that somebody's name is Megatron?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
Calvin
the
Johnson.
wide
Johnson.
receiver's name is Megatron. Yeah.
Is
Yep.
actually
It's
named
his
Megatron.
nickname.
Yep.
No,
No,
it's
it's his
his
Oh, okay.
nickname.
nickname.
I was like, have I had too much Irish whiskey? Am I hearing this
No,
correctly?
not enough.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's his
Not
nickname.
Okay.
enough. You
Not
haven't had
enough.
enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
have another. Thank you, sir. May you have another.
Okay.
Chet, if things go right, we might be having a AFC Championship game in Denver this year. Well, technically this
Then
season.
then
Uh,
maybe then
That's too
maybe
expensive.
we have to figure this out because guess what? My family, and they now know it, the kids know it. We're going to Turks and Caicos in February. So I am now
oh,
off
the
of my
back
I am
cat.
now off
Nice.
of my I cannot travel no matter what situation.
Nice. I like it.
And we got like a suite and all the
Well,
stuff.
I
I
don't
don't
know
even know
if we
where it
could
is.
afford that for an AFC Championship game, but not
No,
a
I'm saying
sweep.
now I can travel though. I've already booked
Yeah, I
it.
got you. I
So
got you.
I mean AFC Championship, we could pull this off. Tim
In
will
Denver?
definitely tell his
Wally,
kids
you're
to get
not
out of the
going?
house.
They
Do you
got
know
the
what? Do you
stickiest
know
of
what
the
a
icky
Patriots
there.
versus Broncos tickets in Denver would cost?
What would that
Holy
cost?
hell! Like they'd cost a lot of money.
Hold on. But I have 4 season tickets to the Patriots. So Tim, we might be able to get you out here if it's Denver versus New England.
No way.
Yeah.
We
Uh,
could
what
possibly do
what what
that.
would the date of that be?
Trey Lance. That's what we got to do.
We don't
Wait,
know
what's that
yet.
mean?
This next
I
year's
think the
schedule
I
is
think
not
the
out.
AFC Championships are on January 25th this year.
So Trey
Okay.
Lance is the backup quarterback for the Chargers, and they're playing him against Denver this weekend. And so we want to see him somehow find a way to prove himself and be like, yeah, everyone gave up on me because he was like
Yeah.
I think he was number 3 in the draft at some point.
Number 3 pick, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
so we want to see him come out and ball out for the Chargers and beat the Broncos, and then there's a chance that if we got to an AFC Championship game, it'd be Denver out here.
Wow.
Could be.
I've told my friends if the Pats always go up against the Broncos, I will go back to my roots.
Thank you.
Atta
My
boy.
God.
Yeah.
Thank
Well,
you.
Yeah, we
it's the
You just
appreciate
least I
that.
scared
could
me.
do.
Good boy.
It's the least
You
I could.
just scared me a little bit with what you said. Like it was too much of a pause. And I remember you smashing a light in Chad's house when we beat the Jaguars
I remember that
in
too. I remember
1996.
that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Punched it.
Yes,
You
I
jumped
punched
up
that
and
thing, man. That was frightening.
You were upset that we won?
No, we
no,
were
no, he was
celebrating.
excited. It was a good play. And,
Oh.
and Tim jumped up and like was like, yeah.
Right.
And, then,
Oh,
I mean, how
okay.
was I supposed to know the guy didn't have vaulted ceilings? I mean, he seems
and
like the kind of
also,
guy who would.
right?
Yeah.
Dude, chief of police, man. Get it right.
Right? Come on.
That's off a movie, isn't it?
What?
No. The vaulted ceilings? No.
I don't know.
I
Man.
feel like it sounded like it
Just
was.
made it up.
It's got to be.
Sounded like it was.
It sounds funny.
All right. I had some stuff about. I mean, Drake May MVP was all that we needed to talk about. If we want to do we want to call this game as far as scores?
They're playing the Dolphins, right?
Miami, New England. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's also call Denver and Chargers. Let's call both of them.
Okay.
I
So,
actually
Go
don't
to
have
Miami
I,
and New England first.
I have nothing to
couple
base this
questions.
off of other than my feelings.
That's
But
as good as we got.
I feel
Yeah,
like
that's-
I feel like the
it's our gut
Broncos are
feeling.
going to lose this one.
Who is?
I hope so.
I feel like the Broncos are going to lose this one.
I really hope you're right.
That'd be
That's all I
great.
have to say.
I was wondering, are the Broncos sitting any of their starters, Nate or Tim? Do you know?
I have
Are
no
they
idea.
starting their full?
No, they're
I've
going to
not heard a
start.
thing about it.
No, I've heard it. They're going
No
to start
idea.
everybody
They
as
want,
they should.
They want that 1 seed, right?
Of course they do. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they want it.
Um, I hope they do, because if they do, are they playing at 1 o'clock? Does anybody know?
425, both teams at the same time,
Lincoln
which I was
time.
hoping.
Damn
I was hoping
Damn
they
it.
play at 1, we play at 4. So
Yeah,
no,
me
but
too. Me too.
they're both
Um,
425.
Yeah, I think the Patriots win handily. I'll say this: Miami's been playing better football lately.
Yeah.
Since they they got a lame duck coach who's on his way out.
No, he's
Um,
not. No, he's not. They've already
He will
committed to him
not.
for
I
next
don't
year.
care what they're saying. That he's not coming back next year. I don't care if they bring that poor bastard back next year. Like, have a little humanity and fire the man.
It's like
don't do that to him.
running Biden for another term.
It really
You can't
is.
do that.
It's very similar. Like, have some humanity. I think the Patriots still win handily. We're playing some really good football. Even if we pull our starters, I think we win by a 3 touchdown margin.
Score.
I'll say 34-13.
Okay. I was hoping you'd give me an answer that wasn't 3 touchdowns. I'm like,
I'm too quick for you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
See how fast this computer works?
Yeah. Tim, you got Denver, but what would you want? Guess a score.
I'm going to say they lose
Oh,
by a
sorry, you had the
touchdown.
Chargers. You had the
I'm
Chargers.
going to say they lose by a field goal.
A field goal? Give me a
Yeah.
score, man. Throw out some
Okay,
numbers.
I'm going to go 34-31.
Ooh, I like.
34,
I would
31.
love if that's the case because I'll have that game on in the other room while I'm watching the Patriots.
Yeah, I'd like if that was the case too. Wally, who you got in Denver and never mind. Tim, pick New England. Or pick the
I
score.
think New England's going to be win, but by 1 touchdown. I think it's going to be 21-14.
Okay. 21-14. Check.
I think
Both of them,
which
Miami
game?
and
Okay,
both of them.
I'll start with New England and Miami. I think New England wins 35-32. And I
Okay.
think that Denver, I'm gonna go with Tim on this one because I love this idea that they could lose. I think that Denver loses 24-21.
Well, they had a hard time against whoever they played last. It didn't seem like it should have been a hard game.
The Kansas City. Yeah, it shouldn't have been because they had like a third string
Right,
quarterback.
right. The
So,
quarterback.
Yeah.
so I'm thinking like I would love to see the Patriots pull it out, but I think Miami's going to play hard. But I also think the Chargers are going to play hard. They're going to want to play for Trey Lance. You never want to be labeled as a bust, right? So you go out there and
Yeah.
you ball out.
I know I don't. I put my balls out there all the time, and
Me too. My balls are up right now.
So I'm going with New England 31-3. I don't think our
Great.
defense, I mean their offense is atrocious, in my opinion, against
No, I
our
agree, but
defense. I don't
that's
think
great.
they got a second or third string quarterback playing for them. I think our defense is going to chew that up. We got some pretty smart minds as far as defensive coaches. So
On the offense, especially Nate, the coaches.
yeah, well, that's what I've heard. Yeah, I'm not a big fan. I am a big fan of them improving every week. I just haven't seen some from those that are praised mostly on this show. So, all right. So
You haven't
I've
seen
also
our
got.
offense improve?
No, I've seen it improve. I'm saying I don't praise them as much as you guys do. That's what I said. They're saints, like literal saints. Like you couldn't live without them. Can't think of life
No,
without
that's not fair. That's not
them
fair.
in it.
We just can appreciate their the results. Can appreciate what we see. We saw our offense last year. We see our offense this year, and they're playing a different game.
Sure is. Yep. It's a different game.
Wow. Again, fanboys, you got like
I
New
was thinking
England
that same thing just
doesn't
now,
count
Nate.
anything but rings, man. Rings.
I
New England
love
doesn't
Bill
count anything
O'Brien.
but that.
I love
They
Bill
haven't done
O'Brien.
anything. The season's not over. They haven't done
No, it's
anything.
important. It's important to know that you've been innately negative about the offensive coordinator this year, and
I have
our
been.
offense is far exceeding its expectations. I
True.
mean, this has been my contention since probably week 3. We've been having this debate since.
So
And if you didn't watch the game last week and think, "Boy, that offense looks good," then I don't know what to tell you.
I did see that, but I also again, it's the Jets, and I want to see it done against the team. I want to see it done when we're up 21, and then we end up losing the game. And again,
No,
that
that was
was
bad.
more
was
than
bad.
one side of the ball, but the offense
We didn't
definitely
lose. We
contributed
did
to
not
it.
lose that game because of our offense.
No, it
We
wasn't
scored
our
over
offense.
30 points in the NFL.
We
That ought to
didn't.
be enough to win
We
the game.
had more than one opportunity to play a controlled offense and generate time off the clock, and we didn't do that.
But if you're assigning blame, you have to start with the defense. We scored
I
30
just
points
said
in
it
an
was.
NFL
I
game.
just said it wasn't just the offense that lost the game. It was all three facets for
Right.
sure.
Why I
So
want
I
the Bills.
agree.
This is why I want the
Me
Bills so
too.
bad in the playoffs.
But the
Let's
Just
offense,
go.
shut
the
up, Nate
offense,
Logan. Is that
but
why?
the
I
offense,
agree. I agree,
the
Chet.
offense has
I'm with
all the
you. I'm
leaders.
with Chet.
The offense has
I'm with
all the
Chet.
leaders. All right, I got Denver. Yeah, I think Denver's gonna
Did you
win.
get Wally
Probably
scores?
like 23-21. I didn't get
Wally,
Wally's
Wally, is
Denver
that a high
score.
noon?
Yeah.
Because it
Too
matches your hat.
sophisticated.
That's exceptional. Good work.
I'm
My
picking Denver,
Denver.
by
So
the
that's
way.
going to be. I think it's going to be low scoring. That Denver defense is no joke. I think it'll be. Boy, oh boy, how many teams have they held to like single digit scores this year? Feels like every
They're
other game.
insane.
Uh, so I think it's going to be low scoring again. I think it's going to be something like 13-21 Denver.
13-21 Denver. So you're picking Denver too?
Yeah. I don't want Denver. I just think they're going to win.
I don't want Denver to win either, but I picked against them just because that's my hope.
All right, we'll see.
Inertia.
Uh,
Inertia.
I haven't ordered it yet, but I've ordered a championship belt for our fantasy league.
For yourself? You didn't order it last year when
I didn't get one.
The guy that won didn't order it.
You're gonna get a
The guy that
tattoo as
ordered
well?
The guy that won didn't. I'm putting all of my winnings into that belt. So Chet had that option last year. Oh no, he didn't because this was the first year that we paid. But
Yeah, we
Does it
didn't
look
pay.
like
We
a
didn't.
WWF belt?
yeah,
It's gotta be.
Okay.
Wow. So Tim, this is
It'll
what
have-
happens.
it'll have
history?
Chet's name on it for the first winner, and then it'll have mine. Yours will be the original, and then it'll be crossed out because it'll have the year, but it'll be crossed out because you're no longer the champion. Actually, I might do some research
You
and
know
see
what?
how see if somebody has done something like that with the. Do you know of anybody that did it with like the WWE belts? Like
It's
people
bullshit.
started putting names on it, and then they like crossed them off. I'm being
I
serious.
Just for the record, Wally,
We're in the
last
league.
year,
Half the league doesn't know what fantasy football is. I think I think you're teaching them as they go. There's been 2 or 3 things we've had to stop and correct, and here you are talking like you won the Nobel Prize. The kid gloves are off. I'm playing cutthroat. I don't care how young your niece and nephew are. I'm going after them, and I'm looking for the W. Like Mr. Nice Guy is gone. He's not coming back again. I'm
Love it.
cutthroat
Wally,
next year. And I'm
Wally,
coming after
Wally,
that goddamn
just
belt. I'm coming
don't-
after that belt.
Don't
Tim,
for a minute.
Tim,
Don't for a minute
jump in
try
on
and
this.
convince us that you didn't have that same attitude while we were playing this year, and it just didn't happen for
I was
you.
too nice.
It's okay.
If I see any of those rules, the bending of the rules, I'm calling bullshit on your cheating family. Yeah, I'm on to you guys.
Don't get too accusatory of my kin now, Wally. Don't do that. Don't do that.
No, I'm just kidding. You're the cheater, not them. Make that clear.
Fair point. My family accused me of that when I was in first place at one point. Just so you know.
See?
So
all right.
I just want you to know, Wally, last year when I was like braggadocious about winning, Nate just said, "Oh man, I hope the next champion is more humble." Now he's ordering himself a goddamn belt.
Belt. I can't wait to win that belt.
It's only mine. It's only mine if I repeat next year. I mean, it's the trophy. Technically, again, we didn't do a paid league. I know Chet. He's a humble person as well. He would have done the same thing that I'm doing. I'm taking all my winnings, putting it into this championship belt, and every year it'll be mailed to the champion, and their name will be on it, added to it. They get to hold it for the entire year.
That's actually really cool.
I don't want it mailed. I want it hand delivered.
Oh, I might do that.
I want to see your face when you hand me that belt next year.
Well,
Tim, are you
had a pretty good opportunity this year, Wally. I guess.
What do you say?
Guess it doesn't.
I said, can you get in on fantasy football? Jump in with us. It doesn't matter.
Well, I tell you what, is there any way that I could have AI just choose everything for me?
Yes.
Because
Yes,
there's
absolutely.
nothing to me more boring than fantasy football. I'm sorry, I know I don't belong here, but that's just how I feel.
No, you belong. You belong. And so it's more fun when I beat your AI bots And then
Yeah,
I
it
can
is.
talk trash to you. It's great.
Yeah.
Look, if I had to put zero effort into this, I'm willing to contribute.
Yeah,
Contribute
that's
my zero, my nil, for sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
very
But
nice of you.
I don't I don't know if you guys remember there was something called Stratomatic baseball. Remember
Nope.
that?
Nope.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
you've
this
talked
was
about it. You've talked about it before,
yeah,
but
I have talked about it. It was like in fifth grade, and it was essentially like proto fantasy anything. And it was all analog. And that's kind of where I left the game. I'm an analog man in a digital world
yeah, it
with
was like
whiskey.
Dungeons and Dragons, but
Sounds
with
like
baseball
that sounds like a
players.
Madonna song.
Well, have you seen Madonna nowadays?
No.
Wow.
But anyway, go ahead.
Uh, well, I
Yes,
was
I saw it.
wondering,
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't want to keep you guys too long because it's 11 o'clock there. I was just wondering, are you guys into like New Year's resolutions or anything like that? And if so, any resolutions?
Good question. No.
Oh, okay. Next.
That's a good question. No.
I it's not a New Year's resolution, but some of the guys at the gym were doing like a contest to see through body composition how we have a little scoring system, but we're weighing in every week, and whoever loses the most body fat percentage and gains the most muscle mass, the accumulation of points up to 20, uh, the winner wins the contest. There'll probably be a second, a third, but it's something to keep us on track for the training that we do, and then obviously our diet, stay on track with our diet.
It sounds like fantasy weightlifting.
Fantasy weightlifting. I guess it kind of does. This is
I
the
like
first
it.
one that I've done. I've
A lot
been,
of complicated scoring. I don't really understand how this works.
well, we use, I don't know, maybe you've seen it, Tim. It's a in-body scan is the name of it, or a body scan. It's a scale that has electrodes, and it it gives you your entire BMI and all of the
Okay.
things.
Yeah.
And
That's the one where
it
they
will,
stick the catheter up into your
yeah,
bladder.
rectally, yeah, rectally,
Yeah, okay. It's a
suppository,
lot of that.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No, not it at all.
Yeah.
So I guess it kind of is. I
Interesting.
don't know.
Yeah.
It's like using data to. We're not trying to figure out who the strongest is because they know who'd win that, but oh, but
Yeah.
we're using the system to
Yeah.
help us
Yeah.
gain more muscle and
Cool. Yeah.
lose more fat, which will
Yeah.
make us healthier. What about you? You gotta
I think the whole idea of resolutions comes and goes, and people are like, what's the point? And they last about 2 weeks before they're quivering with broken wings on the floor. But I like the idea of, I mean, it feels like you have more momentum when you have a starting point that's
Mhm.
a blank slate. I think that's really meaningful. I think as crapped on as resolutions can be, I'm for them. And even if 0.03% of my resolutions actually come to fruition, I'm still all on board with the idea of, hey, it's a new year. Let's uh, let's let's make an attempt to change habits and things like that. And so technology is always one, like a perennial one. So like less or fewer digital interactions and more just like interacting with nature. Um, and writing, I have writing goals and eating better, things like that, normal stuff.
Yeah, I like it. Wally, did you have one?
Not really.
It's sustained greatness. If you just stay great, you don't have to get great.
Yeah,
That's
become more
exactly right.
conservative, maybe.
Become more conservative. I find myself becoming more conservative every year.
Every
Believe it or
time you have
not,
to
you
pay
should have
taxes.
seen me
Yeah.
a decade ago.
Uh, None of us want to see that
Oh, in
again,
fact,
Wally.
I think I've been stayed stationary. Everyone else has just gone left.
Yeah,
I haven't
it's
changed.
it's the Overton window. Same thing as Elon Musk, man. That's what he said.
Mhm.
Nice.
Cool.
So yeah, I don't have anything else to talk about
Yes, you
as
do.
far as topics.
You got the
What's
vibe. You
that?
got the vibe and the dad joke. You got them both tonight.
And
Oh yeah,
you
yeah,
get a dad joke, yeah, in the vibe.
yeah. So the vibe, I'll give you the vibe. The vibe, I already gave it to Chet. I think I sent it in the text chat, but
Is
it
it
is
contagious?
it is Ordinary by Warren with Luke Combs. It was 4 months ago at Lollapalooza. The video has like 12 million views, but check it out. That's been my vibe almost for about a month now. The song
Hmm.
Ordinary with Alex Warren is exceptional. If you haven't heard it, you should hear it. But
Very
the
good.
rendition with the coupling and the collab with Luke Combs I
Hmm.
think it makes it legendary, to be honest with you. So yeah, check
Um,
out that song. Go ahead. Somebody have something?
yeah, I am the 25th anniversary of the Lord of the Rings trilogy
Oh
is
yeah,
here shortly, and I have tickets to see all of them in theaters again, the extended version. So I'm excited about that.
That's
And
very
consecutively.
exciting.
well, I did kind of depended on what seats were available, so
Mhm.
I won't be able to view them consecutively. But I'm also reading the Silmarillion again, which is Tolkien's basically history behind all this stuff. So I'm sort of a Tolkien nerd, and I really enjoy it. And I think
Mhm.
it's there's a lot of things to glean from that. So that's what I'm looking forward to in the next couple of weeks.
That's awesome. Have you seen the
Nice.
Rings of Power on Amazon?
I was gonna ask that. Yeah, you
Yeah,
didn't like it?
yeah.
You don't like it?
I saw 3 or 4 episodes, and then I stopped because I respect myself.
You just thought it was way off of the writings, off of the original,
Well,
or what?
well, what writings? I mean, they're gathering
Yeah.
together a bunch of disparate stories. Galadriel does not have a huge part in many of these things. As far as like pre Lord of the Rings, I'm gonna nerd myself out here, so I'll stop right now.
No, I'm in.
But no,
I'm in.
I'm not into the whole women boss like Galadriel flipping, spinning, stabby, the orcs and the trolls and all that. That is not where her power and glory and beauty is. And it's just she's just becoming like all the masculine heroes except with curves, and I hate that. And I
He's
think
made that
Tolkien would
abundantly
roll in
clear.
his grave.
Yeah. Yep.
What'd you say, Wally?
I said he's made abundantly clear that as a society we're getting too feminine. If you take anything away from this episode, it's that Tim thinks as a society, and maybe it's typified in what they're doing to Tolkien's canon.
You're
Uh,
spot
it,
on.
it's because frankly we're being pussified.
Well, no. We're being pussified by the masculinization of women. It the glory and the beauty and the power of the feminine is in what Tolkien described Galadriel to be, not what
Yeah,
we have made her to be. And so, anyway, then maybe that's
Look,
another
Tim,
episode
Tim,
we could
Tim,
have.
I
maybe
love
that's a
this.
whole other episode. I'd
Yeah,
love
we
to.
Make
should
sure
definitely talk about that. We need to
make sure we
put
talk
this
about this
topic on.
more because Tim also look at Bill Maher, who might not be your
You
favorite
know,
guy.
you're right.
He agrees with you.
I know. It's so weird, right?
Right?
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'll save this. I won't say right now, but I'll tell you what my favorite heroine is in any book or any movie I've ever seen. And well, I won't say the name, but I have this in mind, and it will not be what you expect.
That's a cliffhanger, kids. I like
Is
it.
that are you leaving us hanging until next time?
I like it. That means
Talk
he'll be
about
back.
heroines. Heroines are
Okay.
not the kind that's dangling out of the needle in Hollywood's forearm right now.
Okay. We'll to be determined when we
Yeah,
hear
yeah.
the answer to that. I appreciate that.
That's bullshit. I got to sleep tonight. I need to know the answer.
Will he tell us? Will he tell us, or is this
He will not. He will give you a hint, and that hint is it's an animated heroine.
an animated heroine? Huh?
It's an animated heroine.
Okay.
Only?
Hank Hill,
Well, it's the archetype. There's others, but it's the archetype.
Peter Griffin.
Oh.
Oh, I know. I know. Actually, Tim,
As a
Tim,
heroine?
I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it right now, but I think I know who you're talking about.
I doubt it.
Heroin.
I'm gonna text it to you.
You can text
Why
it to me.
won't you just say it? Anyway.
Clarkson.
No. We gotta it's creating. Come on, we gotta create some content. Some
Some drama.
looking
Yeah,
down the
some
road,
drama.
some drama.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we need to talk about heroines the next time
Heroines.
you're on, Tim.
Yeah.
Be ready for that. All
No,
of you.
definitely not, Chet. That is not the
No,
answer.
no.
You're a couple.
What was your guess?
You're about 3 decades off.
No, I can say it now. So it was the Avatar wife because even though she was like tough, she was also very much like I stand by my man. I'm not going to leave him behind. Like that's the only reason I'm
You're
doing
about
this.
three
it's okay.
decades off.
3
So
decades off.
3 decades ago,
Okay.
Jessica Rabbit.
Jessica Rabbit. Hey, someone I like.
The times line up. The times
Wait,
match up.
wait. Pretty woman. Pretty woman.
It does.
Oh man.
What's our
that's
dad
good.
joke, Nate? What do we got?
All right.
Good.
Dad joke of the week. What vegetable is cool, but not that cool?
A cucumber.
Cucumber.
Radish.
Man.
That's a dad joke of the week.
I feel dirty.
Tim didn't like it. I apologize. I usually try to, stay great and not try to. That way I don't have to get
Wait,
great.
but hold on. Why did Tim and I both say cucumber? Because I don't even know why I said it. I just know I know you said it, but I don't
That's a
even know
good
why.
question. I'm not really sure. I mean, cool as a cucumber. We've heard that before. Cool as a
That's
cucumber.
That's
It's
why.
the
We've heard that
you put the
before.
slices on your eyes and
That was
cool
probably
after
the
your
best
time.
guess that we've ever had, honestly.
Oh my
So
God.
thanks for joining us. Appreciate it, y'all. Love y'all. Like, follow, subscribe, Wally and Chet. And if you have any social platform, you should be sharing our stuff. Thank you. Appreciate it. Love y'all.